The University of Chicago men's soccer team won the national championship.
Julianne Sitch, the first woman to lead a men's soccer program to a national championship, and history has been made.
I always joked that I was the mistake. My parents said I was the blessing. My brother and sister were much older than I was, and I came 8 years later. Of course, I probably annoyed them a lot. I always wanted to be around my sister. My brother, was 11 years older than me. They picked on me a lot. I think that's where I became extremely competitive and stuff, because I was always getting picked on or left behind in some way, shape, or form. But they always supported me. And my mom was extremely positive. She always kind of taught me where there's a will, there's a way, and just believing in my dreams. My dad and I we were like this. We did everything together. He taught me how to kick a soccer ball in the backyard. He was always by my side. I started playing soccer when I was 5 years old. That's where my career started.
When she was growing up, she had to play on a men's team. That was the only thing available for her. She was the only girl on a team with 8 players.
I didn't really think of it as anything different. Just wanted to be competitive and get out there and play. I had a dream to play professionally. However, all the role models that I had were male athlete icons. There wasn't a lot of female athlete icons to look up to.
Still scoreless here, the USA and China giving it their all to the World Cup.
At that time, when the Women's Pro League started, I've never been exposed to a Women's World Cup before. It changed the world for everyone. Changed the world for women's soccer, for women's sports in general. They made it possible for young girls to believe in that. The 99ers winning the World Cup was the moment that I saw that my dream could really happen. In high school, I kind of backed away from all the other sports, really just focused on soccer.
She was known, but a lot of coaches looked at her rough edges. She wasn't overly skillful like some of the other players they tended to like, and she was a little bit chaotic when she played. I wanted Julianne to play for us.
Something about DePaul just felt right. I loved the school. I loved the opportunity to be a part of a growing program. I loved the team. It just seemed like everything fit.
There were a number of other schools who recruited negatively, who also said that when she made her decision, they felt heartsick for her because she had a chance to be somebody and then she was going to be lost in obscurity.
Through the recruiting process, when I chose to go to DePaul, people told me that I would never amount to anything and that I would never reach my goals and I would never play professional soccer.
There were some, issues with the program as far as they had only won 12 games in 4 years, and they played soccer on a softball field. A third of the field was covered in dirt.
Can't get at the ball. Jordan to the hoop, being in the air, score!
What Michael Jordan did for the Bulls is absolutely comparable to what Julianne did for DePaul University. She was a holy terror on the field. She just played with reckless abandon, and she wanted it more. But God, she was strong. You knew she could do something spectacular at any moment, and so you never wanted to look away. We went from bottom 100 team to top 50. That's a massive change for a player to be a part of. Julianne was really graceful through it all. When I announced to the team that Julianne had been named Player of the Year, she fell silent. They all applauded and gave her a hug, and she just said, "Thank you, you guys. There's 11 players in the field, of which I'm only one, and I could not have done this without you." We have to give a lot of credit to her parents. Her parents did a phenomenal job. They were loving and supportive without being permissive, and they showed her how to be disciplined without, injuring her spirit. And I think the reason we have Julianne is because Marietta and Rich Sitch were such great parents.
The last moment that I would play in front of my mom, I knew things were getting harder for her to be able to make it out to a game, but I didn't really know that would have been her last game. We all had tape on our wrist that said my mom's name and the word hope on it, and, just to kind of win that game and score, and we all run over and celebrate with my mom was like a moment that I'll always cherish and something that I'll never forget.
One of our players, Jana Mills, saved her head in solidarity. And when she learned that Julianne's mother had cancer, and that was a gesture that no one asked of her and no one could have predicted.
That's what I had at DePaul. That community of people that are willing to support you and uplift you.
I feel very fortunate to kind of have like a special moment like that in my career, to be able to spend with my mom and share that moment with her.
My mom passed away my junior year. We had this vision of me going and being a professional athlete, and she was never going to see that moment. However,
she'd be very proud of me for following my dream.
You would like to have people realize and see that we work just as hard as the guys, and that we go in there and we put in just as much effort and time and things like that to make ourselves better and to make our teams better. We do the same things the guys do, and so it would be great to just have like that recognition and to have people respect that and know that we do, just about the same work as the guys do.
Every environment is going to teach you something. It's just whether or not you're open enough to be coachable and to learn things within those environments. People told me I'd never become a professional. Again, my mom taught me about this positive attitude, and I surrounded myself with great teammates and other people that supported my vision. I think that was a big moment of growth for me, and I think for myself as well, just understanding what it takes to be at that next level. Learning different cultures, playing in a different environment, playing for different teams around the world. It taught me a lot that like every coach has something valuable to offer. One of the greatest things about coaching is being able to help nurture kids, to help young girls and young boys aspire to believe in their dream and believe that they can be anything that they want to be.
I really started to think about coaching towards the end of my career, when at the time, a lot of us players had to work 2 or 3 jobs to be able to survive and live off of the salaries that we were making playing professionally. Growing up, all of my coaches were male. I had one female coach in high school. I didn't see women in that role as a profession. I've been told that females aren't qualified to coach. There is 100% a place for women on the men's game. I got offered the job at U Chicago. I was a little shocked and called my wife right away and was like, oh my gosh, I got, they offered me the job.
Honestly, I think she's been one of the best coaches I've had my whole life. One of the first things she did when she, got the job and was introduced to all of us was she went and got coffee with every guy on the team, which is 30 dudes.
If you start coming in, if you want to start running in across the line, then they need to play that straight ball in between almost the center back and the outside back. So now then you were running along that line, we're done, and then cut in because that ball is coming through. Does that make sense? So then it's like, you not do anything and sacrifice to have a goal-scoring mentality. It's the same thing defensively. The difference of running and just being like, shit, I didn't get there. No. Do anything and everything, and as that ball's playing and you're getting back, you're doing everything to get the ball out. Like, that should be our mentality, and that's the little extra piece that I think we are missing.
Everything that they're achieving on the field and off the field at a place like University of Chicago, I mean, it's unbelievable. They wake up early, they stay up late, they study, they got to balance all of these things. The players taught me a lot about things, the staff taught me a lot about things, and again, the more you can be open about that stuff, the more you're just going to continue to grow, yourself. There's a lot of unexpected things that you can't prepare for, right? There's just things that potentially happen that you've never had to deal with before. You have to be able to think about things in a bigger picture, not maybe react to some of the things that are happening right away and really soak it in and take a moment to really think about how you're going to keep the team moving forward.
The most important thing that Sitch brought was that mentality switch that we are, the team that's going to go and do it. And I think that was very important for us going into the tournament. I think we reached a new level.
That we need defensively that I think is just missing from us. I think we've gotten better in a lot of areas. We've done better with closing them down in spaces, but I still think that there's another part of us that just like want to defend and want to block shots, want to save a goal.
These guys work extremely hard. They can go after anything that they want. And I think that's the greatest thing about this team is they really come together and they really aspire and work together to have that common goal to go after winning the championship.
Knowing that she would have my back no matter what allowed me to go into games with a very clear head and just let me go play my best. St. Thomas scored a really nice goal in the first half. We went into halftime being down a goal. Everyone's a little uneasy, and when Coach Sitch walked in, she was just cool and collected, told us, hey, we've been in this position a few times this season. I like what I'm seeing out there. I think we're getting good opportunities, and let's get a goal and let's get back in this game. And I think that definitely calmed everyone down. We ended up winning that game 4-1.
Every time you step on the field, you bring your best effort, right? You wear your heart on your sleeve, you get out there, you work, we're relentless, we're resilient, and we just continue to get after it.
Yadashevsky in a sprint downfield does not need to score, but he's going to try anyway. Empty net goal. Yadashevsky with 14 seconds left is a cherry on the cake for this Maroon squad. U Chicago wins its first national championship in men's soccer. They have finally done.
Winning the championship, that was everything. It's been something that this program has been building towards for, I'd say, the last 10 years, and we've had a lot of teams come very close.
History has been made. Julianne Sitch, the first woman to lead a men's soccer program to a national championship.
I hope that the team's success continues to help young girls and young boys aspire and go out and be anything that they want to be.
I've listened to a lot of the stories that she's told me about, when she was younger and getting into, playing college soccer, going abroad. A lot of people had a lot of reservations, a lot of doubts about her, and, here we are now.
Don't run away from the gifts that you have. Find ways to be able to continue to use them. Sometimes dreams change or things go a different way. It doesn't mean that it's wrong, doesn't mean that you can't continue to go after things. It's all about how you see things, what's your attitude within things.
Julianne and myself, and I think everybody else involved in the program, never wanted her to be the last one. I think the fact that she did do what she did raises the likelihood that someone else will as well.
And I always say where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to go after it, you do anything and everything you can to put yourself in the best situation to go after those dreams and to get after it.
Chicago had one non-win this year. They finished the year 22-0-1. The one non-win came to NYU 0-0. The other women's soccer coach in men's soccer. That just seems apropos.
Perhaps this is the beginning of a lot more.